You don't choose to think deeply. It chooses you. It begins quietly, like a whisper in the back of your mind that refuses to fade. Every thought feels heavier, layered with meaning, echoing long after it should have disappeared. You look at a simple sunset and somehow see the whole timeline of existence. Beauty, time, endings, and the quiet ache of knowing nothing lasts. You wish you could just enjoy it, like everyone else seems to. But your mind won't stop peeling it apart. What if the very mind that sees beauty in everything can't stop seeing the pain too? The thought arrives like an echo, and you can't unhear it. People tell you that deep thinking is a gift, but sometimes it feels more like gravity, invisible, inescapable, pulling you down into questions you never asked to answer. There's a moment at dinner when your friend laughs about something simple, and you wish you could feel that ease. Instead,
let's
you're
explore
busy
this idea
analyzing
further.
the tone,
Imagine the
silence
possibilities
between
if we
words,
approach it from a different
the
angle.
invisible meanings behind them. You overthink everything, they say with a half smile. You nod, pretending to agree, but inside you're wondering if maybe they're right, or if they're just not thinking enough. As the night fades, your mind doesn't. It keeps spinning, jumping from thought to thought, memory to meaning, like a restless ocean that never settles. You lie in bed, staring at the ceiling, asking silently, why can't I just switch my brain off? The clock ticks, and with every passing second, another layer of thought stacks on top of the last one. You think about the day, what you said, what you didn't, what they meant, what they might think now. Each reflection turns into another question. The more you think, the less you feel. And the less you feel, the more you think, trying to find a feeling again. There's a quiet realization. Deep thinking isn't always enlightenment. Sometimes it's exhaustion disguised as insight. It's the kind of tired that sleep can't fix. The kind that comes from living too much in your head and not enough in your heart. And in that silence, surrounded by thoughts that won't rest, you understand something you never wanted to admit. This isn't control, it's captivity. The gift that everyone praises is also the cage that keeps you awake. Deep thinkers don't just see the world, they feel it in high definition. Every detail, every sound, every fleeting look carries weight. What others call just a moment feels like an entire novel unfolding in seconds. The hum of a conversation nearby, the pause before someone answers, it's all data, meaning emotion. You don't just see people, you sense them. Their moods, their hidden worries, the tension they carry in their shoulders. It's empathy turned all the way up, a kind of awareness that doesn't fade when the moment ends. You notice too much, says a voice once, half compliment, half warning. And they're right, you do notice too much. You catch the small tremor in someone's smile, the heaviness in their laugh, the sadness behind their eyes. Every smile hides a story. Every silence feels like a clue. You tell yourself it's compassion, and it is, but it's also weight. You feel their pain, even when they don't share it. You absorb emotions like static electricity, carrying the charge long after everyone else has moved on. You want to help, to understand, to ease it somehow. But the more you feel, the harder it becomes to separate their sadness from your own. Over time, awareness turns into anxiety. You start reading too deeply into everything. Try to manage emotions that aren't even yours. A co-worker's short reply feels like rejection. A friend's quietness feels like distance. Your brain builds stories faster than you can question them. You live on the edge of constant interpretation, decoding, anticipating, protecting. Eventually, you realize awareness without boundaries is a quiet kind of burnout. It's the ache of caring too much, the exhaustion of never being able to look away. There's beauty in feeling deeply, yes, but there's danger in feeling everything. And one day, when even small talk feels heavy and silence feels louder than words, you finally see it. This isn't awareness anymore. It's overload. The deeper your mind goes, the harder it is to find someone who swims at deep. You sit among people, laughter echoing, glasses clinking, conversations floating on the surface. And yet, you feel oceans apart. It's not that you don't care. It's that you can't seem to stay where the water is shallow. Every topic turns into a question. Every silence into a thought. You crave meaning the way others crave comfort. Why can't you just relax? Someone says with a teasing smile. You smile back, but inside you're miles away. You've already wandered into your own thoughts about time, purpose, the strange fragility of connection. To them, you seem distracted. To you, they seem distant. You think too much, they laugh. You make things complicated. And maybe you do, but you've always believed that life is complicated. Pretending otherwise just feels dishonest. There's a quiet kind of loneliness that follows you, not from lack of company, but from the absence of understanding. You listen more than you speak, hoping someone will ask the questions you ask yourself. But most people want comfort, not depth. They want conversation, not introspection. And so, you learn to hide your depth behind small talk and polite nods. Sometimes you try to bridge the gap, to speak about the things that move you, the patterns you see, the truths that keep you up at night. But the room grows quiet, eyes drift, the energy fades. You pull back, the wall rebuilds. You realize that connection for you requires more than words. It requires resonance. And that's rare. Later, alone at your dinner table, the food grows cold as your mind grows loud. Messages stay unanswered, not out of arrogance but fatigue. The exhaustion of translating your inner world into something others can understand. You scroll, you pause, you stare at the quiet glow of your screen, surrounded by billions of people, yet somehow alone in thought. And then the truth settles in softly. You're not detached, you're just misunderstood. Your loneliness isn't emptiness, it's depth, waiting for someone brave enough to meet it. Your brain never rests. It replays, rewrites, reanalyzes. Every word, every gesture, every silence gets dissected until it barely resembles what actually happened. You tell yourself it's just reflection, but deep down you know it's something else, a loop you can't escape. The day ends, but your mind doesn't. It's still running, scanning for mistakes, hunting for meaning, trying to fix what's already gone. Maybe if I had said that differently, the thought repeats like a stuck record. You try to silence it, but another one takes its place. Did they misunderstand me? Was I too much? Not enough. You argue with yourself in endless circles, fighting a battle no one else can see. The noise builds quietly, a storm inside your own head. It's not intelligence anymore. It's self-torture in disguise. You're not solving problems. You're replaying pain. Every scenario gets edited, reimagined, perfected, but never resolved. The mind becomes both the courtroom and the accused, interrogating itself until truth and guilt blur together. There's a part of you that believes overthinking helps, that if you just analyze hard enough, you can predict, prevent, control. But the deeper you think, the less control you actually have. Because every attempt to understand just opens another door of doubt. You realize it one night. The spiral isn't about intelligence. It's about fear. Fear of being wrong, of being hurt, of not knowing what comes next. The mind clings to analysis because it's terrified of chaos. But the irony is cruel. In trying to control everything, you lose control of yourself. The thoughts clash faster now, memories overlapping, emotions crashing. Your brain becomes a storm of what-ifs, each one louder than the last. You close your eyes, but there's no silence, only the endless spinning of mind that can't find peace. And in that dizzying swirl of thought, one quiet realization surfaces like air after drowning. Sometimes, the need to understand everything is the very thing that breaks you. When your thoughts go deeper, so does your hunger for purpose. It's not enough to just wake up, work, and repeat. You crave meaning. Something real. Something that explains a quiet ache that follows even your happiest moments. You look around and wonder how everyone seems so content with small talk, with temporary joys, with a life that feels half-lived. You can't settle for shallow waters when your mind keeps pulling you toward the depths. There has to be more than this. You whisper, not sure if you're asking the universe or yourself. You search for meaning in books, in conversations, in long midnight walks where the world finally slows down enough for your thoughts to breathe. But the answers never come in full sentences. Only fragments, glimpses, moment of clarity that vanish as quickly as they appear. You begin to understand that deep thinking isn't about finding all the answers. It's about learning to live with the questions. You realize that meaning isn't a destination but a direction, a way of walking through life with curiosity instead of certainty. The mentor figure in your story, maybe a teacher, a stranger, or just a wiser voice within, once said, "Sometimes the search is the meaning." Back then, you didn't get it. Now you do. You start to notice the small things again. The way sunlight dances through leaves. The way music feels like language your soul already knows. The world still hurts, but also hums with quiet beauty. The pain of not knowing transforms into wonder. The questions don't disappear, but they stop haunting you. They start guiding you. As you walk through the fog of uncertainty, a soft light begins to emerge. Not blinding, not distant, just enough to see the next step. And maybe that's all you ever needed. Not to know where the path ends, but to keep moving toward the light anyway. The same mind that solves problems also creates them. It's the cruel paradox of being a deep thinker. The tool that helps you understand the world can also turn inward and destroy your peace. You wake up already tired. Your thoughts sprinted before you've even left bed. The analysis never ends. Every memory, every mistake, every silence gets replayed, interpreted, magnified. What once felt like insight now feels like noise. "You've been quiet lately," a friend says, their tone soft, concerned. You nod, forcing a smile, but inside the noise grows louder. You want to tell them what it feels like, the constant thinking, the exhaustion of your own mind. But how do you explain something that doesn't stop long enough to put into words? So instead, you stay silent, hoping maybe silence will slow it down. You can't stop thinking, but your thoughts can stop you. They trap you in a cycle of analysis and self-doubt, a loop where every emotion is examined until it loses meaning. Why can't I be normal for one day? You ask yourself, staring into the dark. The question hangs heavy, unanswered. The more you try to control your thoughts, the more they control you. It's like fighting a shadow. The harder you swing, the stronger it becomes. There comes a breaking point, a quiet collapse, not loud or dramatic, just a surrender. You sit there, drained, your body still, but your mind finally begins to slow. And in that stillness, something shifts. Beneath all the noise, you find a fragile kind of peace. Not because the storm has ended, but because you've stopped fighting it. You realize that deep thinking without self-care isn't wisdom. It's self-sabotage. A powerful engine without rest will burn itself out, no matter how intelligent it is. The mind that once seemed like your greatest strength was never the enemy. It just needed gentleness. And for the first time in a long while, you take a breath that isn't followed by thought. Just breath. Just being. You can't stop being a deep thinker, but you can learn to stop drowning in it. The first step isn't shutting off your mind. It's learning which thoughts deserve your energy and which ones can float by without anchoring you. Peace isn't silence, it's discernment. It's noticing the noise, acknowledging it, and letting some of it go. Not every thought deserves an answer. A gentle voice reminds you, a friend, a therapist, or maybe your own inner wisdom. The idea feels strange at first. You've spent so long analyzing, overthinking, questioning everything that letting go seems almost unnatural. But slowly, almost imperceptibly, a shift occurs. You start observing your thoughts instead of being consumed by them. You notice the sunlight spilling across the floor, the rhythm of your own breath, the small moments that were always there but drowned out by mental noise. The world feels softer, calmer, less urgent. Thoughts still come, they always will, but they no longer dictate your mood, your energy, or your sense of self. Sitting quietly, you realize that balance isn't about controlling your mind completely. It's about choosing which currents to swim with and which to let pass. Mindfulness, acceptance, and gentle awareness become tools rather than chores. Your thoughts are no longer a storm. They are a landscape you can explore without being swept away. And in this quiet reclamation of attention, relief settles in like a warm light. You feel your mind lighten, your heart expand, and your depth transform from a burden into a source of clarity and connection. You're still a deep thinker, but now you are also at peace. Depth is not a curse. It's a gift that demands care. Your mind sees layers others overlook, feels nuances invisible to most, and asks questions that linger long after the conversation ends. It is both your challenge and your strength, a lens through which the world becomes richer, fuller, and infinitely more complex. The world needs deep thinkers, but they need gentleness too. You are not broken for feeling more, thinking harder, or questioning endlessly. Your depth is a quiet force that shapes insight, empathy, and creativity. It requires patience, self-compassion, and the courage to navigate life without simplifying it. You begin to notice connection differently now. Laughter with friends feels more vivid. Moments of stillness carry clarity. Conversations become bridges instead of burdens. Even the small joys, sunlight, music, a shared smile, resonate deeper because your mind is present, aware, and attuned. You accept your depth as a strength, not a flaw. It is the reason you see truth, the reason you care, the reason you notice what others might miss. Your intensity is not a burden. It is a gift. If this feels like you, remember your depth is your power. Share this with someone who thinks too deeply to fit in, and remind them that their mind is not a problem to fix, but a gift to honor.